Hey everyone, this is Rabnir's blog of Animation Bliss, and welcome to another anime news section. So today's anime news we're going to be talking about today is Space Jam 2. Now there's been a lot of rumors going around that they're planning on making a Space Jam 2, and in this movie that it's going to star LeBron James instead of Michael Jordan. And that's pretty much all we got from the plot so far, is that this Space Jam 2 is going to star LeBron James instead of Michael Jordan. So what are my thoughts about the chances that we're going to have a Space Jam 2? Well, I have a kind of a mixed response to this. I love watching Space Jam when I was little, and the fact that we're actually getting a Space Jam 2 kind of excites me a little bit, because we get the chance to see the Looney Tunes back on the big screen again, since it's been years since we last saw the Looney Tunes on the big screen. I think the last time we seen the Looney Tunes on the big screen was when Looney Tunes Back in Action came out decades ago. So it'd be nice to see the Looney Tunes come back to the big screen again. So that's probably one of the reasons I would like to see a Space Jam 2 happen, is that we get a chance to see the Looney Tunes back on the big screen again. And I am kind of interested to see what they're going to do with LeBron James in this version. We saw how they did Michael Jordan in the original Space Jam movie, and I thought it was pretty and interesting at the time. Seeing Michael Jordan interact with the Looney Tunes characters, so it'd be interesting to see how LeBron James would interact with the Looney Tunes characters in this decade and age. I would imagine they would start modifying things in Space Jam 2, because Space Jam came out in the '90s, so things were different back then. So I think they're gonna go along with what's going on in current times with Space Jam 2. So it'll be interesting to see how things have changed from Space Jam 2 to the original Space Jam, and I would like to see that happen. Now, on the negative side, I have a feeling that we're going to start seeing the same thing over and over again. It feels like it's just going to be another Space Jam movie that's about the Looney Tunes meeting yet another basketball player. And the thing is, we don't know what the actual plot is. We don't know if they're gonna if the Looney Tunes are gonna come up against the Monstars this time, or it's gonna be something completely different. I am interested to see what kind of threat would have the Looney Tunes meet up with LeBron James in the Space Jam 2. But at the same time, I feel like we're going to get the same plot line we got from Space Jam into the sequel. So that's what I'm afraid of seeing, is that we're going to basically see the same thing we saw in the first Space Jam movie, and I don't want to see that happen again. And then another thing, I feel like, do we really need a Space Jam 2? I mean, as much as I'm interested in the idea of a Space Jam 2 possibly happening, I feel like, do we really need another Space Jam movie at this time? I feel like Space Jam is just one of those movies that was relevant to its time. So I feel like if you make another Space Jam movie for this day and age, it's just going to be the same thing. It's just going to be what would Space Jam be like in the 2010s, and it's be more of the same thing. And Space Jam was unique at the time because it had Michael Jordan and the Looney Tunes coming together into one screen together. So that was a pretty big historic moment in a way in animation at the time. So I feel like if you do a Space Jam 2, all that would be kind of lost a little bit. But again, we have to wait and see how this movie is going to pan out. We're going to have to see how they're going to make this movie work out in the current times, and whether or not it could still have the same level of the same impact that the first movie had on the animation world at the time. So what are your thoughts about this? Are you excited for Space Jam 2, or you're not really that excited? Do you feel like we need another Space Jam movie, or you feel like, no, we don't need another Space Jam movie, the first one was enough? Please feel free to comment below, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter so we can keep you updated any new videos we post up, and also like our Facebook page. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Rabnir's blog at Animation Bliss, and I'll see you later.